Relationship and friendship are always made stronger when the two parties are always close to one another. There is a time when all you have and share with that person is just a casual feeling of friendship. There is no much emotion involved, and there is limit to what you can discuss with one another when you are together. It is the will of God that the friendship should advance to the next level of relationship. That is the reason you are beginning to feel that unusual deep emotion for your friend. You begin to have feelings beyond the limit that you have always had before. It is not your making. When you find yourself in such a situation, what you should know is that it is a call from within for you to love that person more. It is God telling you to move up further in your activities and make your relationship stronger and more defined for an understanding purpose. You feel the emotion is getting more serious and you want to know if it is right or you are feeling the right things. You want to know if the feeling you suddenly began to have for that person is not born out of lust and fleshly desires. You want to know if you should take it slow so you do not make mistakes. That is the signal that God is telling you now, that when you begin to feel stronger intimacy with your friend, then it means that you should start loving that person beyond friendship. Things will begin to work better between you. You have to know this, that whenever God is interested in anything, whenever God wants to do something in your life, He knows the best way to make it happen. You have to trust God enough to know that when you are following Him, everything that He does for you or that happens to you is not an accident. It is always for a reason, and when the one that will not bring the will of God to pass in your life comes, then God will not let it pull through. God wants you to step up the bond and make it work better. He wants you to move away from that stage you are with that person now to something more honorable. Things will start working for you. One of the signals you will receive to assure that you have to love that person beyond the regular friendship you already have is when the limitations to the progress of your friendship with that person is surpassed and things are beginning to work out itself. Now, you must know that it is God that is doing His work at the background. He wants you to get closer and build life with each other because there is always a purpose you will fulfill. It is now in your hands to obey and follow the instructions from the Lord. You have always asked to have a lunch or dinner date together, but the request has always been turned down. But suddenly, you see the same person accepting to do the things they have always turned you down for. It should occur to you that it is for a reason. Progressive and deepened communication. You know, as friends, there are some certain things you can say. There are things you cannot say or do to one another. There are a lot of limitations to your communication flow. When God wants you to love that person beyond friendship, the communication will begin to flow more freely. You will begin to discuss things concerning yourselves, discussions which were not held previously. You discuss and communicate deeper things of the heart and the way you feel with one another. This is a signal to you. This is an information that you have to hold on to and make good decisions. Your life and relationship is very important to God. That is the reason He is involved in the things that concerns you. That is the reason God is making that decision and the choice for you. God wants you to love that person more. God wants you to hold that your friend closer so that you will start up a life together that will lead you to a better future. You no more discuss like casual friends. You now discuss love, affection, feelings and future. You discuss and communicate life and essence. You plan together and put things in place. If your friendship with that person is always involving God as the head, then you have to know that God is telling you something about it. And that is not to quit, but to do more and to grow into something stronger and better. The voice of the Lord and the voice of the people. There is something very distinct about the way God does the things He does. You cannot predict God. One signal that will give you strong conviction about your friendship and your love life is that God will speak to you that which He wants you to do. When God wants you to change everything from friendship to relationship, that will lead you to marriage. Then He will speak to you. In following God, there is one skill that you must get and master, and that is the way God speaks to you. You must know and identify the voice of God when He speaks to you. God also speaks through those around you when you have not mastered the act of hearing from Him directly. When you hear people telling you that you should not let go of that, your friend, when you are always hearing people telling you that you should step up your friendship into a relationship, when you hear people telling you how beautiful and good you are together, it is a signal that God is telling you that you should start loving that person beyond friendship. You know your intention and what your plans are. You know your fears and your limitations, but God is telling you now that you have to take away those fears and start loving that person beyond friendship. God is telling you with those signals that you do not have to keep loving with limitations. You have to start loving that person beyond your regular friendship. See beyond now and start building emotion that will last for life. Are you wondering the reason God is telling you to start loving that person beyond friendship? It is because that is the person He has chosen for you. That is the person you will share love and peace with. You do not have to restrict yourself, but rather follow the instructions and the will of God, because that is the best option. Develop that love that knows no boundaries, that love that is purposeful. Develop that love that will make you see the good and the potential in your spouse, because that is what God wants you to do.
God sees your pain, understands your struggles, and is right there with you. God is a loving Father who never abandons us, especially during our darkest times. He is often referred to as our faithful high priest and our best friend. Jesus, our best friend, wants you to understand that nothing is impossible for Him. If you have faith and believe in the possibility of love, He can breathe new life into your romantic journey. By surrendering yourself to His guidance, He can mend your broken heart and grant you a fresh start in your love life. You see, many people continue to suffer from emotional pain because they are ashamed of their past mistakes and feel trapped in the cycle of heartbreak. However, God's love and redemption are all-encompassing. No amount of mess can make Him reject you, especially when you acknowledge your mistakes and strive to move forward. The past is called the past for a reason, to enable you to embrace a future filled with hope and healing. The restorative power of God is truly remarkable. He can restore what the enemy has stolen from your life and revive the joy and happiness you once experienced.